Hi guys, the main idea of coming live today is to discuss about the CA final advanced auditing and professional ethics paper. So what is the pattern of the paper, what is the breakup of the syllabus, and then I'm going to discuss about how I have broke them down into 3 modules and how my course is going to be through tuition.in. So I'm going to give you a brief about it so that you can look about what is it and how is it going to be, and then you can go ahead and subscribe for the classes, and then you can deal with it. So main idea is to discuss about that. So that's the reason I'm going to try and explain you how this entire curriculum works like, and then since I'm going to do that at a stretch, so what I want you to do is to post in your questions, but I will be taking them in the last 10 minutes of the video, right? So I will be taking care of what we're doing it, but once the entire discussion is over about the syllabus, then I will look at your questions and then I will go about answering them. So please bear with me about that, and then we will go ahead starting it. So yeah, here is the discussion about your CA final auditing syllabus. The subject is basically called as advanced auditing. It is called advanced auditing and professional ethics. Advanced auditing and professional ethics. As you know, it's an entire paper for 100 marks. So now what you need to understand here is, now I'm going to break this down into 4 pieces, which is going to make us understand it in much better way. So how is it going to be broken down into 4 pieces? The first piece what we're going to talk about are about the standards and guidance notes. So one part of your syllabus is completely about standards and guidance notes. Very important part of your syllabus. Standards and guidance notes. Now exclusively only these standards and guidance note here, they're going to give you around 10 to 20% of marks. That's the weightage. That's the weightage that they've talked about. So this is piece 1. In the same thing, when you talk about standards, we have standard number 300, we have standard number 320, all this discussion, that is all also part of your syllabus, but most of which you have already studied in CA Inter or CIPCC. So, you have topics like audit planning, audit strategy. You have that here, audit planning, strategy, audit evidence, and related standards, all the relevant standards about audit evidence. Then risk assessment and internal control. This piece totally, when I say risk assessment and internal control, also includes audit in automated environment. So where we have using computers and all this stuff. Now this piece exclusively here, this is going to give you around 5 to 15% of your, 10 to 15% of your marks, right? So if you look at the 20 to 35% of the entire syllabus is covered in your standards, because even in these chapters, if you look at it, hardly there are any questions that are going to be very thoughtful or attacking, but otherwise questions are generally going to come from standards. This is one piece of your syllabus. The second piece is also somewhat interesting, where we are talking about the company related stuff, right? We are talking about the company related. Now when I say company related, all this is talking about the company audit part. All this is talking about company audit, and that is like section 139 to section 148 on cost audit, all of that. Plus, what are the liabilities of auditor for wrongdoings and other things, what are the liabilities of auditor, and then provisions of corporate governance. Now you have all these questions on LODR and all that stuff. This piece is gonna give you around 15 to 20% according to the institute's weightage. Alright, and then the same company related stuff continues, but this piece is about audit reports. So you have the normal audit report, all the 7 series standards are there here, audit reports plus your company auditor's report order. Then you will also have audit reports for special purpose engagements, special purpose audit reports. Now these are like all your 8 series, SREs, SAEs, SRS, all of that stuff. and also audit of CFS, that is consolidated financial statements of a company. Now this piece is roughly going to give you anywhere between 10 to 20% again. So if you look at what we have discussed till now, that itself is giving you a great deal of marks. Like for instance, to push me up, here you see you have around 10 to 20% of the marks coming from the standards in here, and in here you have 10 to 15 marks from the basic chapters on planning and other stuff. Now this, what I call, is the most important piece. This is going to be in my module when I'm going to explain that shortly. So this piece is what it is, and then here you have 15 to 20% coming from company related stuff, plus the audit report is giving you 20%. So if you watch closely, almost an upwards of like 70% of the paper is coming up from here, and which is roughly, you know, like 70 marks also. Like your question paper is for 120 marks, right? So 70% of that, roughly around 75 to 80 marks are always there in this. Or you can say on the lowers, anywhere between 60 to 80 marks questions can come. Sometimes standards alone have gone for 40-45 marks, so there's all possibilities that questions can come from that. And then the last piece, I'm not really worried in drawing up that branch, because see there what happens is 16 solid marks is there. Here you will look at in the professional ethics piece. So this fourth branch, there is no much of discussion. Professional ethics, here 16 solid marks generally, which is as per the institute around 15 or 20% of weightage, which is obviously 16 marks. So I think here there's no any second thought about the discussion. It is the CA Act 1949 and all of those institute guidelines or whatever they've given. So that is again a 20%. So if you're covering standards, professional ethics and all company related topics, 80 marks to 85 marks of your paper is absolutely safe. But you need to be sharp. It's not like reading something and going to the exam. You got to be extra careful. You look at the title, it's advanced auditing. It's not like mug up something and go to the exam. See a final audit. The key is in answering the questions properly. It's very difficult to understand the question in the exam in that small point of time. So that's exactly what we need to gear up for. You need to have topics, a clear understanding of them, and not just a clear understanding. You need to know how to break them down and make things easy for you. So let's look at the last breakup of your syllabus here. All the other chapters. Now when I say other chapters, here these are all chapters which are on their own, like individual chapters. So here you talk about audit of banks, right? Insurance company, right? Audit of banks, audit of insurance companies, audit of NBFCs, and then you also have audit under fiscal laws like the VAT audit and all that. So audit under fiscal laws, and then the most important, special audit. 7 different kinds of special audits are there. All of this. Now this is catering to 10 to 15% again. So which is again roughly worth around 10 to 14 marks. So you can expect a question from there. And the other piece of this, you have audits of public sector undertakings, internal audit, management audit, and operational audit. That is also an important chapter. Then talk about due diligence, right? Due diligence, investigation, and forensic audit. Now forensic audit is a addition to the new syllabus. It was not there in the old syllabus, so that's a new piece you can look out for. And then of course peer review and quality review. So this is the last piece here, quality review again. This piece is catering to another, let's say 5 to 15% according to the institute's marking. So this effectively, guys, is so yeah, this, let me do this 1 second. It's on coming up on so let me just do this. Here we are talking about this piece is going to get you anywhere between 5 to 15%. Done. So once again, what I'm doing is tell you what exactly is important in this piece. So this piece, this 20% of marks in professional ethics, you cannot miss through. And then here we have 10 to 15% of the marks and 5 to 15. So anywhere they're talking about 15% to 30% of marks, which is like, 25 to 35 mark range. But roughly, like I said, standards, company related and professional ethics are going to be there for like 85 marks in the paper roughly, because your question paper is a 120 marks. You need to remember that, right? So, and you have to answer 100. So in what combination the questions will be answered, that we are not really sure of, so you need to really work around this. So this is the basic arrangement of what your syllabus is in CA final. So this is the breakup. So I thought I'd have you a clear idea about what this is, and then we are moving now to go ahead and understand what I'm going to do with my 3 modules. So I'm breaking the entire syllabus into 3 modules. So with the course you will be getting 3 books, module 1, module 2 and module 3. So where what will be the content of each module and how is it going to be phased out is what we're looking at. So the course material, I'm breaking the course material into 3 modules, right? So here we talk about module 1. I'll talk about the contents in that, and then first up module 1. What I'm going to discuss in module 1 is an exclusive piece of all. It starts with introduction, which means I will introduce you to the concept of audit very quickly once again, and I'm going to deal 2 very important standards here, standard number 200 and standard number 210. This will be the first module, the basic thing. Then you will have audit planning standards, audit planning and strategy. That means the whole of 3 series. Audit planning, that is 300 series. And then you will have audit evidence, followed by, after planning we'll talk about audit evidence in this book. Here we are again talking about the entire 500 series. In an order I'm going to cover them, which is quite logical while doing it. And then we're going to talk about audit documentation, and then all the other standards, whatever I didn't cover here. So it's going to be the first module exclusively going to be about standards and all the allied topics relating to internal control. So all of that other standards and risk assessment procedures and internal control topics, where we will be talking about audit risk and internal audit. So all those topics are going to be covered in the module 1. So this is the coverage of module 1. And what I'm going to do in module 2, right, this is, I'm going to put it for the company stuff and all that, right? So but module 2 will have your straight 16 marks topic in the first place. Module 2 will contain professional ethics, right? Then it will have company audit. So, and I also advise you to go by modules. So like when you're doing your course, you want to focus module wise. So as you're doing standards, you should not just stick to them. So you have part of this module covered, part of module 2 covered, part of module 3 covered. The very idea of this session is to explain you what are the 3 modules and how you go about covering it. So this company audit piece, sections 139 to 148, we will be dealing in this. And then in this very module, I will also have your audit reports, both general and special purpose. With that, all your standards will be covered, because the 7 series missing here, that's being covered here, and the 8 and the other standard series are also covered here. Then like I said, we will have liabilities of auditors, corporate governance, and audit of consolidated financial statements. Now if you look at my modular arrangement, it is also quite similar to what I showed you here, where you see this, all these topics, right? This one, this and this. So your first 2 modules, all the heavyweight chapters are covered absolutely, right? So likewise, what is left over is the other chapters, which is what will be my module 3 as well. So my module 3 will be focusing on all the other chapters, starting with audit in CIS environment, and then it will start with banks, followed by insurance, banking, insurance, NBFC, special audits, and of course all the special audits are covered here. Then audit of PSUs and peer review and quality review, Operational audit, internal audit and management audit, that chapter will be covered. Due diligence and investigation along with forensic audit, that piece also will be covered. And anything else, I think that's it. That's what we have here. So yeah, these are all the things that I'll be covering in the third module. So this is going to be your course material, and the entire course is also going to be lined up like this. So when it is lined up like this, the main idea of doing this is to have a clear breakup of what the syllabus is. So now you know that, see, even at the end of watching the entire course, if you have covered only 85%, what is that 85%? Which chapters have you missed? So to have a very clear track of what is what, the idea is breaking down into 3 small books and 3 modules here. See, huge syllabus, you know, like, and what are the advantages of doing this modular? At the end of every module, right, at the end of every module, what we will be coming across in the module is the set of past exam questions, right? There will be a set of past exam questions which are lined up in a series order, which you have to answer. Of course, my videos discussing the answers for that will also be there, right? But the catch there is, past exam questions, you need to try and answer them, and there's a trigger there, so which you will obviously understand as you be part of the course. So past exam questions and along with the answers video, that is available. So this is a absolute value addition that you're going to get. Past exam, of course we'll be doing more live sessions and discussing these past exam questions, of course, but for those part of the module that you're buying up, you will also have different questions what came in the past exams. Of course, being the old syllabus the base, not much of your content has changed, and also the new syllabus that has gone by will keep including all the past exam questions from the question papers, and also have the videos discussing the answers to those. And also what we're going to add up here are the paper presentation techniques. Exclusively you will have paper presentation techniques, and you can reach out to us on almost on any doubts or queries that you have. So this effectively is what we are looking at, in terms of what exactly is the course and how are you going to start up. Now for people who are starting up this course, what I would like to tell you is, before you start straight away going into any topics, what you need to do is to catch up the mode in which you're going to do. So start with module 1, cover all these basic topics, the standards and planning sleeves and all that. And then when you're finishing up the 5 series, then parallelly you can jump on to module 3 topics. So while you keep doing this, you can also start attacking one by one here. So by the time you're done with the basic standards, you can keep some standards for yourself in the thing for last, and then jump to company audit and then audit reports, and then you can parallelly keep covering liabilities and other topics. Now keep this entire professional ethics chunk one after the other. So like you're doing one video of professional ethics, you can as well do one standard, so you can parallelly juggle that and do. So that's the reason why we've broken down this into 3 modules and can go by, right? So in case you have any more queries or any more things, now you can put them up in the comment section. I hope a lot of them have already been coming, but like I said in the beginning, we haven't really looked at that. Now I will be taking all your questions and trying to answer most of them. Let me see, the next 10 minutes I'm going to do that. But so this is the overview. So here was the entire syllabus breakup, and this is our modular breakup. So I hope that gave you an insight as to what this course is there for you to offer.